It's the end of the day, and we usually do these at the beginning. But
yeah, it's getting late.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I need to sit down too after finishing this up. It's been a long haul.
So this is the Instagram work build that we started how long ago?
Probably 4 or 5 months ago, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
And it's finally come together just in time for USTE, which I'm thankful for. Which is you're on the road tomorrow, so
I know.
Here it is. That's why it's late at night. So we got other things going on, but.
Packing it in.
We thought we'd do a quick rig review on my latest build, which, as you said, was on Instagram, and then was kind of labeled the work truck build. So this is it. So I'm happy with it.
I'm really excited to hear the story.
Sure. So of course, for those that are seeing it now, it's got City of Gloucester badging. And I tried to replicate the color and the look as much as I can. It's exactly what I remember when I was working at a young age for the City of Gloucester. And so here it is. Now, this particular model is an interesting one. I don't know if there's truth or if it's a myth, but from what I remember when I was that young, early on working for the city, I remember these farting around. And I don't know if Toyota Canada had some of these or were given to mid-sized municipalities because for cold weather testing, because this one has an EFI in it, so it's the R22 or the 22RE.
Yeah. And
I think the year on this is either 81 or 82, and I don't think the motor was released until 83 or 85. So either there was a motor swap along the way that maybe they did at some point, or if the myth is true that there was some early cold weather testing for Toyota Canada. And just on a side note, we can be the coldest capital in the world from time to time. So
have been.
So this is a unique build. It's a bit rare. Round headlights. Sort of the dash goes in with that era. But it's got a 22RE. So it's a bit of a story behind it, an interesting story. Whether it's true or not remains to be seen. But
I like it.
It's here, and it's done, and I couldn't be happier.
Your dudes are officially slurping their roll up the rim coffee and sporting the city logo at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more authentic than that.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah, drinking coffee, Timmy's, especially here in this part of the world. And then he's snacking on a donut. Of course, Bob and Doug McKenzie, 2 Canadians, and in previous videos and comments, one of the reasons why I chose them was surely they're Canadian. This is a Canadian work truck. And and of course they've got toques on, they've got jerseys are plaid on, and they've got jackets on, and being cold out there, especially right now for us, it all sort of fits. It's been fun.
You have a really interesting story to talk about. What happened with the process to get the bed liner in there? And I think there's some value in that to the people who are watching the video.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great comment, and I would love to get some input on this, or tell me what happened. But of course, these bodies are predominantly in 2 pieces. You got the front half and the back half, and oftentimes these work trucks back in the day, now at the time I think they were like a hard vinyl or a hard plastic that they used to put in the back of these.
Oh.
I wanted to mimic that with painting it black. But I've been using, or have used, liquid masking
Yeah. That's like a Lexan thing, right? You paint it on,
Yeah.
kind of a purpley.
Yeah, you sort of
Dark
paint it
stuff
on and you build up in layers and it
Yeah.
kind of goes on and it's kind of got a green film to it.
Oh, okay.
I've seen various.
Yeah.
And so you got to build it on thick so it's easy to peel off. And so what I was doing was it was painted on the outside, so the yellow was existing.
Yeah.
Wanted to paint the black. Masked the outside, and as I pulled off the masking, the liquid mask after doing it all, and was happy, it took the sheen away from the rear of the box. Well, I'll tell you, I was devastated. For those who are watching are all at this level, so you can understand that this was heart-wrenching. So I spent probably most of the day, well, first I cried, then I spent most of the day polishing it with a wax and a compound and so on. Almost to the point where at some of the hips I wore out the paint. But I got the sheen back and it was thankful. But I don't know what went wrong, because why does my liquid mask, maybe it's the wrong type, I'm not sure, why did it take the sheen away? Or is it only good for Lexan bodies? You know, so that's something I don't know and I learned, and certainly open for comments as to if anybody else has experience with that.
Yeah, so liquid mask was on the hard body paint. That was fresh this year.
Yeah.
And then you did some brand new stuff for you on the seats too. Talk about that.
Yeah, so again, something that we've mentioned before, but I actually like it and I got some good feedback on it, but it was flocking. So I did the seats in a black flocking, sort of in the inset of the seat.
So describe flocking as a material. What
So flocking is a powder. Embossing powder is one variant, and then the other is, I'm not sure what it is, but it's like a synthetic fine powder that you can get in various colors. The long and the short, or the quick procedure of this is basically you find a part, you paint the color that you want that matches your flocking, and then you sprinkle it on, dust it off, sprinkle it on, dust it off until you get an even coat. And it's a nice texture. It looks like a texture on a seat in a car.
It's like so when you're done, you get something that's kind of seems like a faux fabric.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
okay.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
So I did that to this truck in particular. Had never done it before, and it actually worked out quite well. Yeah. One of the things I learned with it though was it's quite fragile. So once it's there, you've got to be careful when touching it because it'll rub off quite easily. But it really looks the part. It definitely looks like a scale or realistic fabric of this scale, which would be 1/10, 1/8, 1/9, what have you.
And then when the interior comes, so let's just talk about the body kit first. So this is it's an RC 4-wheel drive, 4-door Mojave body kit.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you got their interior tray for it as well.
That's correct. Picked up the interior tray for that, and then completely manipulated it.
Okay.
It started as that, but completely took it apart and used the seats. Didn't use the floor. Used the dash. And just used a lot of the accessories that came with it, but it's far from its originality. But it's a great, jumping off point for modeling and for creating an interior for sure.
And because it's hard plastic, then the flocking gives it that texture that it was missing.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you've got it. And then I married that with the floor pan that is a GCM printed floor plan, which is a great jumping off point. It really advances the build. It really made for a nice interior. It sort of captured everything.
And the tell here is on the fender with the CMAX badging.
Yes.
So it's not a TF2 chassis, it's a GCM CMAX chassis. It's got Bauhaus 152 Yoda axles underneath it, and then we came up with the floor pan, which gives you the full floor right to the bottom of the doors for the driver's, passengers' feet, etc. And it also gives you a spot for radio equipment and whatnot. And then we did a rear gas tank battery box.
Yep.
To fit between the rail.
And what a nice package, because it sort of brought everything together and it all came together. So You know, and this build actually started with those Bauhaus casings and axles that I got,
Yeah.
and needed something to put under it, and then the four-door RC four-wheel drive Mojave Hilux showed up. So it's a great unit. It's a great package for sure.
This has a bit of a I guess you purpose built it in one way, I think, because I remember through the entire build you were talking about putting stuff in the back and how to spring it so that it would carry the load and whatnot. And then I think what ended up happening is that you came up with a tire choice and a rim choice and a suspension selection and an accessory selection, and it sits like perfect. Like I don't exactly know all the stuff that you put into it to make it turn out like this, but it sits like a semi-loaded truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't squat or anything. It feels like it's got, it's still got decent suspension flex for trailing and stuff. I mean, I know you're going to drive it around.
Sure.
So I don't know how you came up with the balance, but it's a really nice balance.
Well, thank you. It starts with the CMAX chassis. To be honest with you, that's where it starts. And then, of course, this being a work truck, it's leafed all the way around, which gives you that certain feel and look and suspension travel that I was looking for. And then, the weight and the balance and some of the accessories that you put on it. Like I've got these cinder block pallet, and they're actual miniature cinder blocks made out of cement. So there's some weight there too, right? Yeah. So I had to work with the leaves and the supports with all of that to make it sure that it sat and looked like it would if it was a work truck. It's got a bit of a sag in the back because the box is kind of full, but it's sort of, the stance is where I want it to be. The tires and the wheel combination really sit well with what it is. I couldn't be happier.
Nice exhaust pipe I see right there.
Yeah, I finally did one of the last few things I did. Yeah. I also these who are these? Boomerang? No.
Boom Racing.
Boom Racing.
The wheels.
The wheels. I got those all lined up to look proper, and
nice.
They really fit well with the Bauhaus axles too. So
I like them a lot. This is a really nice setup.
It's really well.
So you somehow added in inner fenders into the box. I don't think I've ever seen that done yet in a Toyota pickup.
Well, Ryan Luna, he's got, and what is he? He's R3 Designs.
R3 Scale Designs.
Yeah, he's got a set of TF2 inner fenders that work well with this build. So I had to pick up front and back. So I had to pick up a set. I got those, and they fit well. Yeah. And, that's the nice thing about this build is there's very little styrene work done here, and for there's incredible styrene workers out there, but this is very much model building for me, which is almost what I wanted it to be. It's what parts are available that I can bring it together to make it my own, and there's a lot of people that I need to thank and will over the course of this truck and its existence, but it's really that sense of model building and putting it all together and making an RC truck out of it.
It's so cool, man.
Thank you very much. And of course, we've got a marriage of Night Customs and GCM underneath the hood. So this body doesn't come with a removable hood. So what was the process for that? Had to remove the hood, of course, and I did that with dental floss. And I learned that somewhere, probably from you guys out there.
What does that mean, dental floss?
So I used it to cut the hood off. So there's a nice groove or a nice body line within the truck. Yeah. Molded into the truck, and that sort of gives you guidance. And so I use the dental floss as a way of cutting the hood out. And if you follow the body lines, it works out well.
So it's kind of like a thread saw.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. So,
wow.
Yeah. And then the James Knight 22RE. What a beautiful piece. What a beautiful piece of RC kit, and so I was able to marry that in the front of that too. So
that's the SR5 one that he did for the SCX2 and the Proline body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you managed to marry it onto the 22R block and exhaust pipe that is from the GCM kit
That's correct.
and the oil pan, and then you have a complete 22 RE.
That's correct.
That's a standalone. It's amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Like
Thank you.
it's amazing.
Thank you.
The weathering is amazing. Little stickers here and there and decals and all of the stuff that you put in the engine bay. That little extra is the wiring and the.
Thank you.
Tell me the story about the wiring. So you've got a really fine wire that's wrapped around the rubber hoses and stuff like that, and then you've got some slightly larger rubber cased wire. So what did you use for those?
Yeah, so of course these engine bays have gotten to the level now where you need to show the rubber or wiring that's within the engine bay or the harness and so on. So,
Yeah.
you know, you have to then sort of choose what you want and what looks out there. I found a bunch of craft wire for, you know, in various sizes and so on.
Yep.
And I would use heat shrink tubing, or I would remove the silicone sheet that's over top and expose the wire that exists. And I use that in various thicknesses and so on to actually detail the engine bay. So it looks like either, you know, wire or rubber tubing that may come from the rad or what have you.
Cool, man.
Yeah. And again, you know, a lot of people that took their time and effort to help me with this. Tara, she printed out the decals. AJ Desarney, he designed this logo for me. I couldn't find a City of Gloucester logo that was clear enough. He actually drew this out for me and got it all done, scaled it out for me so that I could then get it printed. So AJ, thank you very much for that. He's an incredible artist. He's getting into this. He can create logos and so on. So if there's anybody out there that needs that, I've got a guy for you. So yeah, it was a fun build. It was a pressured build because I had to get it done for USTE.
Yeah.
For those who know me, I have a small child at home, so it was a trying build. I'd also like to thank my wife because she certainly took the child a number of times so that I could finish this. So
Yeah.
it really was a group effort to get this, and I thank everyone for it.
Well, it's really well done, and I'm really glad that you could take a few minutes to share with us before it disappears off to the Florida show.
Yeah, bring it on. I can't wait.
So you don't have to take it on the plane, right? We're going to send it down in the van.
Yeah, it's going in the van. I didn't want to carry it in through the luggage or watch someone toss it into the back of a plane. It hasn't quite cured yet, as we call it. Yeah. So yeah, it's gotta go in the back of the van so that you can bring it there.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm glad it's done. I'm really glad it's done, and I thank everyone for helping out.
Another amazing build, Toyota build by, of course, DJ Clark himself. DJ T. Clark.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, thank you. Here we go, and bring on Florida and 2018.
See you guys at an event soon. Hope you come by and check out Dana's great truck and shake his hand.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.